Say what's going on, everybody, here on a Monday night. Christian Ballard here, Ballard Sports Media, coming at you live with some Michigan State football talk. Spartans had an interesting year, pretty good year this past year. 11-2, 7-2 in the Big Ten. They won a bowl game against Pitt, and here to talk about it with me is my main man, MSU #1 fan. What's going on, buddy? Probably the only Spartan fan I know on here.
Not much, man. Doing good.
Yeah. So go ahead and introduce yourself or whatever. I know I've done a couple streams with you before, but for those that maybe don't know who you are, just talk about being a Michigan State fan, what got you into it, and ultimately just being here on YouTube. Do you upload videos or anything you want to talk about?
Yeah, so I'm gonna start doing my preseason scheduling videos here soon. Starting with the high school from down the road in Ann Arbor.
Okay.
I've been a State fan probably since 2012, around there.
Yeah.
Around that era with Coach D'Antonio.
Yeah, and of course he recently retired a couple years ago, and obviously some interesting stuff going on with Coach Mel Tucker, who came in a couple years ago from Colorado. Overall, just I guess to start us off there, what have you seen from Mel Tucker in Michigan State? Is he surely? I mean, is he doing what you expected him to do? Is it not quite up to expectations? Where are we at with Tucker?
He's doing a lot better than I thought we would.
Yeah.
People are having us at 4-8 and 6-6. Nobody expected 11-2.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, you look at what they've done so far. It is really incredible. Let me pull their schedule up real quick. But go ahead and talk about this past season. I remember they got off to probably one of the better starts of anybody, and kind of really, I mean, it surprised me. I mean, I think we did an off-season stream talking about it, but
Yeah.
overall, what did you see in 2021 that they did? And ultimately, I think the way I saw it, it was the right start, not really the right finish towards the end of the season. But what did you see?
I see generational talent from Kenneth Walker.
Yeah. Is he coming back? Because I know he's eligible for the draft. I don't know if he declared or not.
He is. I think he's going to the Bills.
He is coming back, or he did declare?
I think he did declare, along with Jalen Naylor and Jacob Pamashuk.
Okay. But you said he's going – you think he's going to end up at the Bills?
Yeah. That
would definitely give them a boost at running back. I know they have a good player in, I think, Singletary. I don't know if he's a long-term guy, but I do have real quick the schedule pulled up for the Spartans this past season. Just looking at it, like I said, man, it was the right start, not the best finish. I mean, you got off to a 7-0 start. You beat your younger brother, because technically you are the defending champs of this rivalry at this moment. But then you lost at what? Okay, so what was it? I could understand losing to teams like Purdue and Ohio State, but and you could sit there and say, well, they're on the road, but even if they were at home, just what was it that you had in September and October that just going into November you dropped 2 games? What happened?
The secondary was atrocious. I mean, we gave up 9 or 7 touchdowns to Ohio State in the first half.
Yeah.
Then injuries piled up in the secondary against Purdue, but that's not an excuse. Kenneth Walker was banged up. A lot of our players were banged up. And our speedy Naylor had a broken hand, so that really took the speed from Naylor.
Do you think that they got I mean, obviously, it seems like injuries played a factor, but do you think that they got a little comfortable after beating their younger brother, as you guys call it? Like, did they get comfortable after the Michigan win, or was it one of those where it was just all injuries or something?
It was, I think it was just a mix of everything. And Coach Tucker didn't start that week's press conference by the Michigan. He read every single Purdue upset they had
Yeah.
at home against top 5 teams. And as Iowa lost to Purdue this year. Notre Dame almost got beat. I
Yeah.
mean, we're not the only team that's done it. Has went to Purdue and lost. Ask the 2018 Ohio State team how that went.
Yeah, right?
So it's in Purdue's DNA to do this. They lose to
Yeah.
a nobody, but then they beat somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
A lot of teams are like that where it's like they lose to a team they shouldn't, and then they go and beat a team and pull an upset when they shouldn't.
yes.
Right. I get you. It happens all the time, honestly. Um, but yeah, it's kind of crazy.
I was out of town for the Purdue game. I was down at a Shippensburg game
Hmm.
watching them, so I didn't get to see the whole thing. I'm kind of glad I didn't.
Yeah, but
But
so overall,
mm,
again, some tough losses in there. Again, Purdue and Ohio State. Like I said, I could get Purdue is a tough place to go,
yep,
and like if that game had been in East Lansing, I would probably scratch my head. But to go and lose at Purdue, and Purdue was a good team. They have some good players.
yep,
Some key guys going to the draft and everything. They finished, I think, 8-4 somewhere in there, losing at Ohio State. So I mean, it wasn't compared to what happened towards the end of D'Antonio's
era.
career before he retired. Like Mel Tucker, I think has been honestly, I would say he's been amazing for you guys so far. I mean, he had a
Yeah,
great season. It just wasn't what you expected because I know that the way it started, it seemed like this team was going to go win the East, going to go and win the, possibly even win the Big Ten. So, where do you guys go from here?
I think next year we're gonna have to compete with Ohio State, and hopefully, if we get them, I think week 6. We get them early, which is what we want. Get them early. They lose Chris Olave. They lose the other Garrett Wilson.
Yeah.
But as every year, they relive at wide receiver. But now that Jack Miller, he went to Florida. So who's other than Jackson Smith and Jigba in their running back? Who's the next dude to step up? Jeremy Ruckert, I think he's going to the NFL.
They are losing quite a bit. I think I'm trying to think. Trey Sermon's going pro at running back, I think. Or maybe did he go last year?
No, he's a sophomore. He's coming back.
Okay.
But if you're Michigan State, you get them early, which is what you want to do. And we used to have these things before rivalry weekend is who derails whose season.
Yeah.
Do we derail their season or they derailing our season?
Yeah.
I'm
Um,
still
I'll go ahead and finish real quick.
I'm still laughing about a lot about Michigan game. You're putting
Yeah.
a freshman quarterback in a rivalry game
Yeah.
to run pass option. Why? A couple weeks later, Jim Harbaugh's still complaining about that one pass interference that wasn't called. That's when they're threw it in the stands. Well, of course there's going to be no penalty. He's throwing it in the stands. I just like how he was complaining about it.
Uh,
How he was complaining about it.
yeah.
I
What's up
was.
in the chat? Joe Johnson, how you doing? Sorry about that.
It's fine. I was asked a question a couple of days ago by a buddy. If you had to pick him a fight, Donald Duck or Jim Harbaugh, I took Donald Duck.
Yeah.
Because Jim Harbaugh, you haven't won a bowl game. It took you how long to beat Ohio State? It took how long to win the Big Ten? But you're winless in your bowl games.
Yeah.
I'm seeing a lot of tweets on Twitter.
It's like he can, it's like it takes him quite a while to get where he needs to be. Like he's taken too
Yeah,
long to do it. And then once he does one thing, the next thing, I don't know if he gets caught up in what he did. Like I get he won the Big Ten right after beating Ohio State. He didn't drop that, but he won the Big Ten. Okay, then he goes to play Georgia. Now I know what Georgia was last year. We all know that was a team of destiny, a team on a mission, but it was like for Harbaugh, man, it's like, man, the ceiling
it was
is
there.
reachable, right? It's there. It's
It
a
was not.
fair and easy task. I think he did hit the ceiling by winning the East, beating Ohio State, and then I think winning the Big Ten. I think
Mhm.
that was the ceiling, was just winning the Big Ten finally and having those pieces. I
It took
don't know about winning a playoff game. That was where we looked at it and said, "Okay, can you take it further?" And he said, "Nah, I'm
no,
cool."
no. He said. And I also think Michigan State angered them after we beat them in East Lansing for the
Yeah,
first time since 2014. We showed them you can list us, but give Ohio State.
yeah.
But
So, what do you say we go ahead and get into a preview of the Spartans this year? Now, I don't know about you, but I'm gonna save um I'm going to try to save my thoughts on Michigan for or Michigan State for next season because I'm actually going through by conference this offseason with my team previews. I'm still in the SEC, but the Big Ten is up next. So hopefully, very soon, I can get around to your Spartans. But I'm
yeah,
going to pull the schedule up and we're going to look at it. So we're going to look real quick again, look at last year. Then we're going to look at this upcoming season. But overall, again, 11-2 overall, 7-2 in the Big Ten, a win streak. You finish with 2 straight wins. You beat rival Penn State. You beat Pitt. Your losses were not bad at Purdue and at Ohio State. It was a 10-win season, and you really didn't lose until maybe week 8 of it all, or week 9, whatever.
yeah.
Um, on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being a really great year, 1 being this was not even close, it was the worst ever. Surely it's not that low. Where do you see last year?
I see it as a 10.
Okay.
We
So you thought
exceeded.
it was amazing, couldn't have been better, exceeded expectation.
Yep.
Okay,
One.
10-win season, not bad.
Yep.
Go ahead.
He's the first Michigan State coach to go 2-0 against Michigan.
2-0. Wow. D'Antonio he didn't do that?
No, he lost his first game in 2006. And that was when those lips from Mike Hart called us the little brother.
Yeah.
And since then, we had the winning record.
Yeah.
There's a documentary called Divide We Stand on the Big Ten Network about the rivalry.
Yeah. I didn't even think about it, but can I ask you, are you in Michigan? Like, are you close to East Lansing? You can go to the games?
No, I'm in Pennsylvania. I'm hoping to go to Penn State, Michigan State this season.
Oh, I didn't even know that. I was going to ask about the spring game. I mean, surely you still have some thoughts on that. Like, is there anything? I know it's not. I'll say it's not a big deal, but spring games are a big deal because I mean, for a fan, like from that perspective, to see that it gives you an outlook on what you expect for the team. So
Yeah.
Surely you'll be at home watching it on television if you get a
Oh yeah.
chance. But is there anything you want to see from the players? Are there any players that stand out to you that you're looking forward to seeing?
For me, there's a couple of recruits I'm looking at is Bo Edmondson, then Dante Moore,
Okay.
5-star Martin Luther King Jr. quarterback. We have his center, and I'm looking at one of the kickers. Matt Coughlin is the Michigan State leading point leader in state
Yeah.
history.
Okay.
Whoever's the next kicker, big shoes to fill. Same thing at running back. We're missing Kenneth Walker. We're missing Elijah Collins, Jalen Berger, the guy from Colorado, or Jordan Simmons.
Yeah. I got
Someone
you.
can fill his shoes.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. Well, hopefully this team can do good this next year. I mean, I'll be honest, I don't hate Michigan State, but I do like Mel Tucker. I think he did great at Colorado. So, I mean, hopefully he can have a good season. And speaking of, let's just go ahead and get into the meat and potatoes of all this, man. Let's get into this. Looking at 2022 for Michigan State, overall, you start out with the spring game. You're looking forward to that. But you get into the actual season, you actually open up on a Friday. I don't think any times have been announced, but forget like
Yeah.
what time the games are. You start out, let's run through this real quick. Oh, don't want to look at Western Michigan, but let's look at this and overall run through and see what you have this year. So you start with Western Michigan, you play Akron, go to Washington, play Minnesota, play at Maryland. You play Ohio State at home, but we know about the Buckeyes. That's one of those games to circle on your calendar, possibly. You play Wisconsin. You get a bye week. Then you play your older, I don't know how to say it to you. You play your brother. Then you
Our
play
twin.
Illinois. You play Rutgers, Indiana, and finish at Penn State. So overall, on a scale from 1 to 10, how tough of a schedule is this? And then what do you ultimately expect?
I would say this is probably a 9 because the Big Ten has struggled on the road against Pac-12.
Yeah,
Just look what Oregon did in Columbus in week 2.
that is true. And you got to finish out, well, not finish. I'm sorry. I'm looking at that wrong because of the spring game at the top, week 3. So just before the end of September, you got to take an early road trip with Washington. I don't really expect much from them. But again, road games early on are really, really tough, especially if it's Power Five. That I would expect. I honestly, I would probably favor the Huskies in a week 3 home game. Um, but again, I mean, it all depends on those first couple weeks, and I
Yeah,
don't know what their season holds for them yet. But I
I don't
could
know
go
either.
ahead and give you a look. So before they play you, they play Kent State and Portland State. So you're looking at possibly, and I mean, you're looking at a 2-0 Pac-12 Big Ten game there on September 17th. So that could go either way, really, if both teams are motivated, being undefeated.
I think College Game Day might want to circle that Michigan game on their calendar.
Yeah,
The
you're
coaching,
talking about circle the Washington Michigan State game.
yeah, and the coaching hires that Michigan State has made. Oh, it's juicy in East Lansing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We got Brendan Jordan, the pass rusher coach.
Yeah,
We got Akron Reed, the new running backs coach. We got a new defensive lineman coach.
yeah,
There's a guy he plays for the Raiders, but he's one of Brendan Jordan's secret agents for pass rushing. And Michigan
yeah.
State picked him up.
Okay, that's awesome. So But yeah, I would definitely circle. I'd circle a couple games on here, but again, getting back to this schedule as a whole, you open up kind of easy the first couple weeks. I mean, teams like Akron, teams like Western Michigan, they're not bad. They're not nobody. Like they're teams that they talk about on College Game Day. But just being a Big Ten team, let's just go out on a limb and say, especially being at home, you should win those games. I just think Michigan State is at least in that position where they're better. At Washington, you play Minnesota, at Maryland, Ohio State, Wisconsin, bye week, younger brother, at Illinois, Rutgers, Indiana, and at Penn State. Overall, I mean, are you ready to give like a full on record prediction on what you think is going to happen? Are they set up for a 10-win season? Are they dropping more games than people expect? Like, what do you? I know you want nothing more as a fan. Like, you would love them to run the table, have that dream season, win the Big Ten, go 12-0. But ultimately, are you sold on a record prediction anywhere?
Right now, the
Yeah,
floor is the floor is 10-2.
like that's the bare minimum.
Yeah. I mean, we can lose to Washington and still lose to Ohio State, but the rest of the games are winnable.
I think so. I mean, and again, like, here's the thing: the Maryland game. That's a road game in October. Road games in the Big 12. That could, I mean, I'm gonna be light on saying this. It could be a trap game, but Maryland's really not that good. Now, I don't know what to expect this upcoming season. I say any given season, any given Saturday, an upset could happen. So, I mean, those are games that for right now, lightly, I say look out for. I'd look out for Wisconsin this year, especially how they are defensively. You always look at Ohio State, you always look at Michigan, Indiana. Penn State could have a really good year. Penn State's recruiting very big, but you say 10-2. What are the
Yeah.
two losses you look at on this schedule?
Right off the bat, I think it's Washington.
Okay.
It could be Ohio State, could be Maryland, or it could be Wisconsin. Either of those three. I
Do
mean,
you
but
hold on? You say any of those three, but what about
yeah,
going to Beaver Stadium? Because Penn State brings in a, five-star quarterback this year, I think. Unless I think actually he might be he he might be in this year. I don't know.
yeah, he is in this year.
Drew Aller. So, are you saying you guys are going to go to Beaver Stadium and win?
I'm saying we could. That's also another 50-50
Yeah,
because we'll have a veteran defensive line. But how does Penn State's offensive line handle it?
they do lose a guy or two, like Rasheed Walker, who's a big guy going to the draft. So they will have some young guys to replace.
I I think I heard this right. Sean Clifford's coming back, if I remember right.
Mm, maybe, but
But
again, I mean, I'll have to double check and look on that because I'm not, like I said, I'm not around to previewing Big Ten yet, but I will after the SEC. Um, but again, overall, you could be right. I mean, it could be at most or at minimum like a 10-2. That could be something, and I think like a 10-win season that gets you back to a New Year's Six bowl. Um, but let me ask you this, and I think I brought it up before, but just to refresh my memory on what you said, but that 2015 team, and be honest with me, like, was that luck that got you guys to where you were in the playoffs, or was that something special that D'Antonio had for you guys? And overall, like, how does Mel Tucker take what that team had and put it in a team like for this year or next year or whenever uh, it could happen?
You have to have good recruiting is number one.
Okay.
Two is the coaching. We had to have a 5-star player since Blake McDowell in the 2014 class. It's pure luck, too, as well. I mean, Michigan State got lucky. A lot of these games last season at Miami. That Miami game propelled us to a higher team ceiling.
Yeah.
Even when we were losing to Michigan, there's a song from the band called Journey.
Yeah.
Don't stop believing. You always have to believe the process, Coach Tucker says. And that
Yeah.
song was going through my mind throughout the game.
There you go. I do like Journey, by the way, but you you were talking with me before the stream, but there were two players that stood out to you in recruiting. Which, by the way, let's go ahead and get into that. Um, what are you seeing from the recruiting so far? And let's look at 2022, and then I guess we'll go ahead. Well, first off, yeah, let's look at 2022, what they brought in. Talk to me about some of these guys, and then we'll look at what they have coming in for this upcoming recruiting. This will be later in the year in December, and then a year from now in 23. And then there's two players you want to talk about.
Yeah, there's a couple. One's from Colorado, one of their running backs, who was there when Coach Tucker said, I'm going to East Lansing. He's now in East Lansing with Coach Tucker. So he's utilizing the transfer portal yet again to get a couple corners, defensive linemen, and linebackers. And we need help on defense. Especially in the secondary. That secondary was atrocious.
Yeah.
I mean, we were dead last in passing defense.
Of all 130 teams?
Yep. But there's a positive. It can't get worse.
Right. It's only up from here.
Yeah.
Unless you don't do anything, then it just stays there and you're stuck being the worst in pass defensive.
Yeah.
Pass defense or whatever you were saying.
I think with the new coaching hires with Brendan Jordan, who's an NFL coach and private trainer, who's a pass rush specialist, Michigan State picked him up.
Yeah.
We also got Daniel Barker, an Illinois tight end. I'm pretty sure Power Warren's still on our tight end roster, the commissioner's son.
Yeah, here's some transfers. Amir Speed from Georgia, Chris Bogle, edge defender out of Florida. You have brought in some interesting transfers. You mentioned Daniel Barker from Illinois, Wisconsin, Jalen Berger, a running back, Jacoby Windman from UNLV, and then a Mississippi State linebacker and Aaron Broll. Overall, just like how they're using the portal. Just what does that say about Mel Tucker? I mean, I would say personally, just, he means business. He wants to build this program. But, I mean, are you sold on him knowing where to get the talent? Because, I mean, I'll tell you what, I've heard Georgia fans talk about Amir Speed. He's a 3-star recruit, but I've heard some good things about guys like him. So, I mean, is he getting the right players position-wise and going after what he should?
Yes, go to where you need the most help. And Michigan State needs help on the defensive secondary. I mean, linebackers, yeah, so there. Same thing with defensive linemen. But when you look at Tucker has ties to Georgia, Florida, Chicago, all those, there's some big recruiting states. So he's not afraid to go get the big buffaloes in
Yeah.
those states. He's saying, look, we're going to be in every recruiting battle that we can be in. You may
Yeah.
not, even if a guy commits, let's say a guy commits to Alabama, right? Coach Tucker will still keep recruiting him in case that guy decides to transfer.
Yeah.
And he reminds me of a businessman. You don't like your spot on the depth chart of a roster? There's the portal. You're more than welcome to leave this program.
Absolutely. I mean, look, players can go where they want to. And you also got to think for some of them, it's not just about the NFL. You got to think some guys, transfer out educational purposes. You got to support that, man. I
Yeah.
mean, but like you were saying to your point, like if you don't like how it's run or if you don't like the coach or you think it's unfair, like, I mean, too many players just complain about it. I think instead of just doing what they have to do. If you don't like it, look, don't express, just have a private conversation with the coach. And here I am, part of this media, us as fans and everything, that wish we knew what was going on. We wish we had the inside sources, but sometimes, let's just call it like it is. Just have a conversation with the coach. You don't have to take it to social media and Twitter. Just shut up, talk to your coaches, talk to your family in private, and then just say, hey, this is a decision that I have made. I know I got a lot of support. I love you guys. Thank you for the opportunity, and then transfer out.
I was watching the Ohio State Akron game. Ohio State player quit mid-game and made a nasty post on Twitter. And there's rumors that Michigan State may get him.
Yeah.
But Mel Tucker's the kind of dude that says, offense doesn't talk to the defense. Defense doesn't talk to the offense. That's not how this culture is run here.
Yeah. So, getting into recruiting too, just a little bit more. You mentioned two key players that stood out to you. We'll look at both of them. There's Jeremy Bernard, a four-star wide receiver. But I'm actually curious about this quarterback, Caton Hauser. Is that how you say it? From St. John Bosco in Bellflower, California. Talk to me about him for a minute.
So Caton Hauser has a good connection with the staff. He was there when we played Nebraska. Kind of like Peyton Thorne, James Reed. Did you watch the Michigan State games last year, Ballard?
Yeah.
So you probably heard 100 times about Peyton Thorne and James Reed being high school teammates. This is the exact same thing. Round two. So Hauser and Bernard have been friends off the field for how long? And Bernard was like, I'm going to Washington. That's where his one coach went.
Right.
Then,
well, I'll tell you what. Yeah. I was just fixing to say, looking at these highlights here, he's got a very strong arm. He gets it out, a quick release. I've seen him run a little bit here. He seems like he's very mobile. He seems like more like a pocket type of guy. But is this the guy that you guys need for your offense? I know you had that Rocky Lombardi guy. Would you say this is an upgrade from him a little bit? Because I know we've talked about Rocky Lombardi, the guy that you've had the past couple years and how good he's been in times. But overall, I mean, is this the guy that you say can lead an offense at Michigan State?
I think he can. He has the support around him to do that. And Rocky Lombardi transferred out after 2020 to Northern Illinois. And we had Peyton Thorne.
I remember that.
Yeah. So I was supportive of Rocky Lombardi. I feel like he was looking over his shoulder too much and felt like he was being pushed to do too much. He played with a partial MCL tear and a broken hand and a couple fingers. As a quarterback, you can't be playing with that type of injury. You just can't. Right. I think why he threw all those interceptions was the pain was getting to him. where he thought, oh no, I might lose this starting job. I gotta fight through the pain. Talk to the coaches and the trainers during practice and tell them you can't do it.
Yeah.
I mean, you got a solid backup in Peyton Thorne, whose dad's dad was, they were all coaches. So they can help you pinpoint what you can work on when you're not in the weight room, you're not on the practice field. Just ask your dad and family to go over your film with you.
Yeah. So I'll tell you what, from what I was seeing, I mean, like I said on that Kane Hauser guy, it just seems like he's got that arm and that it factor in him. Like, I mean, and you always want the best of best. Like, I'm
Yes.
trying to think of who it is. I was looking. Oh, Penn State picked up a 5-star quarterback. Now it's about time that they do that, but at the same time, like they're still at that position, I think,
Yeah.
where they still could be okay with a 4-star like a Caden Hauser. But, like, I mean, you're not going for the stars or anything like that. You're just going for, like, hey, can you work? Can we work with you a little bit? And Caden
Yeah.
Hauser seems like that kind of guy. I mean, here's a picture of him. I guess from when he committed. This is pretty cool here. But overall, I see a guy with a great strong arm. I would say systematic. Uh, who remind me who the offensive coordinator is there, and just overall, I mean, is that what Michigan State's trying to work with? Is the offense mostly, or what they should be?
I think it's a mix of the defensive secondary and the offensive line.
Okay,
If you're losing one of the Allen brothers, but they've been a staple of Michigan State for years.
yeah,
I think from 2013 to now, we have an Allen brother somewhere on the offensive line.
yeah,
Like if they were there, they were on the second team ready to go. And he has his two older brothers in the NFL. And I feel like for Caden Hauser, he was on campus over summer getting coached by offensive coordinator James Johnson, and he liked it. He
yeah.
really liked it. And, you know, Michigan State likes to run that flea flicker a lot.
Yeah, they do. I noticed that they do a lot of weird. First off, I noticed that they can be fast tempo a little bit at times, but you mentioned like a flea flicker, little trick play in here. I mean, it's not like but it works. They do it in such a way where it's unique and it can work. They're not a super pass heavy, pass
No,
first all the time,
no,
like Clemson with Uyunglele or Bryce Young at Alabama. It's not really like that, but
no.
whatever they do, man, it works. And I would say, like, Caden Hauser, this is the first I've heard of him, but just seeing his highlights just now, I'll have to look into him a little bit more. But he seems like an interesting quarterback.
Here's a quote from 2015 after that Michigan State game ended with Michigan. One of the commentators said, quote, they haven't been winning pretty, but they just keep finding a way to win.
Yeah,
That's the passing doesn't have to be pretty. Just find a way to get it done.
right. Win the game.
Yes, and with Peyton Thorpe, he can run. I feel like with Peyton Thorpe, he threw that interception. Michigan scored. He's like, I got you guys. Comes
Yeah.
back, just a couple quick, easy passes, up tempo. Up tempo. Michigan State has shown they're capable of doing that when they need to.
Yeah, absolutely. And then
The
I guess
trickery.
go ahead.
The trickery kind of reminds me of an NFL coach, Bill Belichick, New England Patriots.
Oh yeah. There you go. I
And
think
they,
it makes me think of because I mean even Doug Peterson with the Eagles, I think he did it more than once or twice, and it wasn't even just that type of play. But you remember the Super Bowl 52 with the Philly special.
yeah,
He did a lot of weird stuff with his offenses, but he made it work and had it pull off. That's kind of where
Michigan
Michigan
State
State
is.
is right now. And
Yeah.
honestly, man, if that's what works for your offense, go for it. But make sure you have the right guys out there. Like we mentioned about Caton Hauser, he seems like he could be a good serviceable. I would say systematic because I don't think he's generational. He's not a Trevor Lawrence. He's not a Bryce Young or anybody like that. Which that's okay. That's not that big of a deal. But if he sits like if he signs come December later on this year, got a long way to go. I mean, he could flip from now till then. But if he signs,
House.
honestly, he seems like a guy that could fit with a Mel Tucker offense.
Yeah, and Hauser's been on campus now. Him and Bernard are both on campus, and they'll be playing in the spring game.
Wait,
Honestly,
so they will be playing in the spring game upcoming?
yes, and
Oh, so they don't even have to wait till so they could be early enrollees and play this fall.
yes, and I wouldn't be surprised if we're playing Akron and Western Michigan, get these guys in the game action. I know
Yeah,
it's a 5, but it's something to get their feet wet.
yeah.
It's not like Peyton Thorne. Oh, Rocky Butter just got knocked out. Go against Ohio State.
Yeah, and you real quick, you mentioned a four-star wide receiver just now. You mentioned Bernard, Jeremy Bernard from Henderson, Nevada. Talk to me about him for a second, because coming on here and everything, you talked about that quarterback, Caton Hauser, but is this one of the more watchable guys that's going to be in East Lansing soon?
Yes, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if he were one of the starting 5 in week 1. He can be a running back, a receiver. There's been, I think, film of him playing corner and safety. So I wouldn't be surprised if they cross-trained him like Timmy Lippett.
Well, I'll tell
And
you what, watching him here, he's got some good speed. And you mentioned he plays corner and safety, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah,
That's when a guy he can catch the ball, because if they can trust him on defense too, and they want to have him play and maybe make a pick or have some good hard hitting and speed on him. And again, he's a 4-star. He's not a 5-star generational talent quite yet, but it seems like he's got the attributes of one. Look at this speed here. Look at him kind of zigzag just a little bit on that play. Back this up. Little head fake, little cut. He's
he
got some
reminds
good
me of,
speed. Seems like he's got good size too. This could be a key playmaker with Hauser. I mean, you bring in a good quarterback and receiving duo, it seems like.
yep, they're high school teammates, and he reminds me of Jalen Naylor.
Yes.
There's one speedy guy gone. Oh, wait, we have a spare tire in the back.
Right.
It's,
Next man up.
yeah, he was actually originally committed to Washington. They drove up there and they said, well, wait, where's our position coach? Oh, he's at Oregon. So he went to Oregon and they didn't really like him at Oregon.
Yeah.
So he goes, fine, you know what? I'm going to flip to my buddy Caton Hauser and commit to Michigan State.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a
That's
lot of,
awesome.
there's a bunch of
But you
podcasts.
say so they're former teammates in high school. So which one did he leave California, or did Hauser leave Nevada? Because I think they're at different schools at least right now, right?
Now they're both on campus in East Lansing. I'm not sure
Oh,
who.
they met up on campus. I thought you were saying they were former high school teammates for a little bit.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, and I'm not sure
Okay.
who moved where, but there's a lot of podcasts that are Michigan State, like Locked On Spartans, Spartan Confidential Podcast, Spartan Speak, Spartan Spotlight,
Yeah.
the Red Receiver Rundown, Spartan Mag Live, who is a YouTube guy. Those guys is where I get my information from. 9 times out of
Okay.
10 it's true.
Yeah, I got you. That's
It's not,
awesome.
it's not like there's 1,000 Michigan reporters and they're bickering about who's the best. They all get the same information from the same head coach. Any
Yeah, I got
questions?
you.
Any questions?
Um, no, it doesn't look like we have any questions. I mean, Jacob asked if I was going to drop the link, but this is a special with a fan. It's not
Feel
really meant
free
to be a hangout or whatever. I don't really want to make it that.
feel free to ask questions.
Yeah. Let's see. So we talked a little bit of recruiting. We talked about the spring game. Overall, again, looking at the schedule for this year, I think you said about a 10-2, right?
Yeah.
At minimum. So I mean, if they don't at least hit that, I mean, again, Mel Tucker won't get fired or anything, but
No.
I mean, even with like a 9-3, is that really that disappointing?
No, because you had to play Ohio State and Maryland back to back, which could be trap games. Look, we
Yeah.
can beat Michigan, we're riding high, and oh, Illinois.
Yeah.
It, it seems like Illinois, last two times, Illinois beat us. Last two times, Wisconsin has beat us. Mel Tucker has ties to Wisconsin. He was
Yes.
a he was a player at Wisconsin.
I think
So
I remember that. I think I've seen his highlights. He was pretty good.
he he has his ties up there, and I'm just glad we don't have to do that jump around.
Oh no. That's just
But I will say, Ohio State, you have Arkansas and Notre Dame to open up the season.
yeah.
You hear about Michigan? They backed out of their UCLA home and home.
Did they really? Why on
Yeah.
earth would they do that?
I don't know, because they're afraid to play a Pac-12 team. I don't know.
Why,
Just for
who would be afraid of the Pac-12?
But Michigan State in 2014, we lost to Oregon by 19 points.
2014. Well, 2014 Oregon was like,
The
I mean,
national,
in defense, they were a national title team.
yeah. But at the same year, though,
Jacob says a minimum of not of 10-2. I mean, I
that's
really
not
think
bad.
y'all could be. I really think y'all are more than a 7-5 team.
And there's
He
still
says he's not saying it's impossible, but he doesn't think it's a minimum.
right.
I
So
guess if he's saying it, Jacob, clarify. Like I'm assuming he's saying that's more
yeah,
so of a max or
it's
at
more so
best.
yeah, at best 10-2.
And
You're
I don't
looking
blame him. I really think y'all are one of the more unpredictable teams because you do lose a bit, but you also bring so much back, and you have fixed the staff a little bit, and you're recruiting great. I really think y'all are unpredictable this year in ways because I mean we don't know if you're going to suck or if you're going to really hit the ground running and start off good.
there's two players in the 2023 class, a defensive lineman from Iowa,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's the five-star quarterback, Dante Moore from Martin Luther King High School in Detroit.
Yeah.
I would
Okay.
love to get a five-star quarterback.
He says Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, and Wisconsin are tough games. Plus, you could always lose a game you're not supposed to. So in this case, he's saying at
Please.
minimum, it's possible
Yeah.
8-4, probably 7-5 if you slip up somewhere else.
But that's still not bad for what we've just
Right.
had last season.
Yeah. I mean, you're going what you just went then. I mean,
Yeah.
because didn't we agree you went 8-4, I think? You had a great start, but then towards the end, you played literally those teams and just kind of fell down a little bit.
Yeah. And Peyton Thorne threw an interception at the end of the first half, but that was a Hail Mary. So I think what helped us is quarterback play. He threw for over 3,000 yards in a single season.
Yeah,
I mean, he threw 10 picks, but 26, 27 touchdowns. That's not bad for a
it's not.
sophomore.
Yeah, yeah, I would agree. He
And I
said
think,
they'll probably go 8-4, 9-3, in my opinion. I could probably say that too.
yeah. I feel like there's a couple games that will determine that, though.
Yeah.
I feel like it's the Washington, Ohio State, Maryland, and Michigan, and Wisconsin.
Basically, the bigger opponents where
Yeah.
you just have to have that good day and have it go your way.
Wisconsin has outscored Michigan State by a total of 68-6 last two combined meetings.
Oh, that's really bad.
Oh, yeah.
You said Wisconsin has outscored you?
Yep.
Oh, no, 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 can't have that. You can't be doing that this year.
No.
You have to make up for that.
In the last, Michigan State was up 35-3, and Illinois won it 37-35.
Yeah.
Daniel Barker started that comeback, too.
Daniel Barker.
That tight end transfer.
Hold on. Let me look him up. Is his brother Braxton Barker?
I think so, yeah.
He must be one of Jay Barker's. He was born in England, British Virgin Islands. Former soccer player. That no, he's not.
No.
Different Barker. I was gonna
Yeah.
say he might have relations to
Yeah. Yeah.
former Bama quarterback Jay Barker, who won us the 92 Natty.
I will say
92, 93.
our punter, Bryce Berringer, I think his punt average was like 59.5 yards per punt.
That's not bad.
No. I think he had one punt of 66.
Dang.
But that's you
Is
can't
he coming back? He's coming back for you. That your special teams has been pretty incredible. Talk to me about the field goals though. Who's your remind me who your kicker is?
It was Matt Coggan, but he graduated.
Okay, congrats to him.
Yep, so there's a competition there. I'm not sure who will be starting. I will say he was just a couple feet short of making a 60-yarder, which would have been his career long against Northwestern.
Yeah.
But he had a hip injury later in the season, so Coach Tucker was giving these younger kickers experience. They're only extra points, but it's still something.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a couple of teams in the SEC that has improved. Same thing in every conference, really. Do you agree that Tennessee and Kentucky have improved?
Oh, absolutely. Especially, I mean, Tennessee with the offseason they had going back pretty much a year ago with the allegations of buying players and then more than half their team transferring to go and make a bowl game with the head coach and Josh Heupel. I think Josh Heupel is set up for good success at Tennessee for sure.
Like, there's one point I watched them play Alabama.
Yeah.
They won. Bama won, but I thought if Bama keeps shooting themselves in the foot, Tennessee's just putting touchdowns. I thought, could
I'm
Tennessee
good. You know,
do this?
they have lost what 15 or 16 straight in the third Saturday rivalry.
Yeah,
But you know what people need to understand is half of those games have been fairly close. I mean, 2009, we make a joke and call it Rocky Block because Terrence Cody got up, big boy knocks down the field goal. I mean, literally, and even in 2016, well, hold on, 20, yeah, I think 2016, Jalen Hurts had to run in a touchdown just to keep the game alive, and he kind of ran the score up. So I mean, the
I'm,
Vols have their fair share of one or two
I'm,
possessions from ending Alabama's win streak. I mean, I really think that it's that kind of rivalry. And honestly, I know we joke about Tennessee because you know, like you'll hear Uncle Lou say, "Oh, they're a dead program. They're a dead program, and they're terrible."
they're not dead.
I think that is a bit much. I mean, I know that 1998 was their last natty. It's been a while since they've won the East or anything. I think that they just have not had the right coach for it. I don't want to
No.
put any player down. I don't want to say they haven't had the quote unquote talent, right?
Yeah.
but they haven't had the leadership. I feel like Heupel did pretty good in his first year, man,
I
and he
mean,
doesn't seem like a clown. He doesn't seem like a guy that would go screw things up. He seems like he could be the guy. I'm not
I
saying
mean,
national title, but man, if they want to consistently have 8-4, 9-3 seasons or beat a team like Florida, they might
they
have
got it.
a coach.
They took Purdue to overtime,
They lost it, but they did.
but they
They
scored
did
what,
take it.
20?
Yeah.
But that was
How
an
many teams can take
interesting.
Purdue to overtime, do you think?
Not too many.
I'm not talking about the Georgias or Alabamas. I'm talking about the teams that you say Purdue could actually win this game.
I'm thinking Michigan probably lose it.
Lose in overtime.
Yep. I think
They beat
Illinois,
Ohio State a couple years ago. Now that was in
yeah,
regulation, I think, but they still
yeah.
beat them.
Just look what the
Purdue's not a bad team.
Illinois and Penn State. Perfect example.
Yeah,
Illinois went 5-7, but they beat Penn State when they were ranked in the top 15.
yeah.
But I'm waiting for Michigan State hockey and basketball and baseball to start up.
Yeah.
Our
Well, I'll tell
basketball.
you what. Um, I was just gonna say, I think we kind of ran through everything. We talked about the spring game a bit. We talked about, especially, I'm looking forward to seeing what Kane Hauser can do. It seems like things are going well in recruiting. We looked at that Bernard receiver, and like you said, at minimum 10-2 next season. Is there anything else that we need to know about the Spartans with 2021 wrapping up and going into next year? Again, we got the whole off season, so if you want to find time, maybe back in June. If anything big comes up between now and then, you know how to get a hold of me, man. Just email me and we can set up another stream. But is there anything for right now that we need to know about Michigan State going forward, especially with spring camp and everything around the corner?
Are you familiar with Brandon Jordan?
Brevin Jordan?
Brandon Jordan.
Brandon Jordan. That name sounds familiar. It's a player, right?
No, he's a patch rush specialist.
Okay.
He works with TJ Watt, Aaron Donald.
The best.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Michigan State picked him up.
No.
Michigan State got him.
Attention, everybody. Michigan State, top 10 defense next season confirmed. MSU fan breaking the news. They get one of the best specialists in the country.
Yes, we also got a new defensive lineman coach. I can't remember his name. But we have Akron Reed, the new running backs coach.
Okay. So basically, there's been a lot of staff turnover. Was it
Yeah.
time to let those old guys, not like old guys, but was it time to let those guys leave? Like, was that what you were going for? Or was it one of those where Mel Tucker just happened to pick some other guys up and just kind of find, I guess, better hires?
Will Pegler, who was the running backs coach, him and Coach Tucker were talking about it. He felt more with Billy Napier before the coach. But Coach Tucker was supportive of that decision.
Yeah.
But he said he was thankful for his time in East Lansing. It was short, but he was thankful for it.
Mm-hmm.
He'll have a place in his heart for East Lansing. I feel like Michigan State needs to get a better pass rush, because our secondary was horrible. Because we had no pass rush at all in the last 3-4 games.
Yeah.
And that had to be addressed. I think that was part of addressing an issue, but it needed fixed.
Absolutely. I kind of noticed that too. I think
Yeah.
that, and really, you mentioned they need to get better pass rush. I also think consistency with your offense, like it was pretty good. You had great weapons. You had Kenneth Walker. You had Peyton Thorne. Y'all were really good. I think consistency, really overall,
Yeah.
is a big deal in college football, and I think that's something you guys need to work on too. Like, I know this position or anything, like, this is great over here. We got that taken care of. But what would you agree with, like, just being consistent offensively would definitely be a big boost in the right direction?
Yes, and it would, because the same offensive coordinator, you have talent coming in, like we talked about earlier with Hauser and Bernard, and maybe a 5-star quarterback from Michigan. We have a Texas 3-star, Bo Edmondson.
Yeah.
He, he committed from Lake Travis in Texas.
Okay.
Um, so you're gonna see that they're gonna teach them the same wrinkles, but they're all leading each other. They're telling each other, "Look, you need to improve on this. You could have done this better." And Coach Tucker likes that. He doesn't have to spend a bunch of time on simple things.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, I
And then,
think, I just think that what we saw from Michigan State early on last year, again, we'll kind of end on this note, and I'll let you have any closing remarks. But what you guys did to start the season was great. Where it went down, and I understand playing like the Michigans or you know, Ohio State. I think you guys did beat Michigan, correct?
yeah,
Okay.
7 to
But still,
3.
like, playing
Yeah,
the other teams like in Ohio State or whatever, obviously you guys are not at that level. But quite honestly, I
we're
think you're closer to that level than people give you guys credit for.
we're in between the second tier and the first tier. We're at the halfway point.
So you're like a 1.5 tier then, right?
Yeah, we're in a little tier, but Xavier Henderson announced he's coming back.
The
Tre'Davious,
safety.
yes,
Yes.
Tre'Davious Crouch comes back. Chuck Brantley, Michigan fans remember him for making that game-stealing interception.
I remember that.
The thing is, for Harbaugh, you can't complain about the officiating in that game. I feel
Yeah.
like the referees are like saying, "Look, this is a run. We're gonna let them play. When it gets too testy, we're gonna start warning people." I think they did a very good job of that. There's a pass interference call in the end zone that wasn't called that Harbaugh wanted. The referees, it's going in the stands. There's no reason no one had a chance at it to throw the flag.
Yeah.
So to me, it's a no call. Keep it in the pockets.
Absolutely. Well, man, I appreciate you coming on tonight. I'll let you some closing words on Michigan State, what to expect, anything that you just want to add, and then we'll get out of here.
Any questions? Anything I can answer?
Nah, it looks like first off, two people are watching, but nah, nobody's really asked any questions. It's Nate
Uh,
showed up earlier, and it's been Jacob, but that's
uh,
about it.
Michigan State has had, I think, the most ejections in a season.
Like targeting.
We had 2 targetings. One was he grazed the guy's helmet with his forearm
Okay.
and punched the ball out. Then the other one, he threw a punch at a Maryland player, and that got him kicked out. But other than that, I'm surprised there wasn't any ejections in the Michigan State game.
Oh yeah, especially that's been a hard hitting battle rivalry right there. Anyway.
You, they when they came up to our field in 2018, they carved their cleats into our Spartan logo at midfield.
That
And
probably pissed y'all off.
Michigan State has this. We walk arm in arm like this is our land. This isn't your land. This is our land for good. And we were
Yeah.
breaking our land. There was a bunch of pushing and shoving, and who said what, and we got a $10,000 fine out of it.
Yeah.
And Jim Harbaugh's encouraging that.
Yeah.
But the Big Ten said it could have been handled better by the adults. Then Chase Winovich, he said, quote, sometimes when a little brother acts up, just put him back in place. That gave us the fuel when Mel Tucker come in. He said, I think he said one of his main things is beating Michigan.
Yeah.
We don't care what the
Just
record
beat
is.
Michigan, right?
We can be 1-11, and that could be the best win of the season.
I'm gonna tell you this: there are Bama fans out there that, like old folk, old school Bama fans that lived through the rough times. That would say, I don't care if it's 1-11, as long as we beat Auburn, I'm okay. I don't know about 1-11, but like this past season, we didn't win the national title over Georgia, and I was caught up in the moment. So of course I was pissed about that game.
Oh yeah.
But now that I look back, I'm like, but we won at Auburn. You know how many years? I mean, it's only been 6 years, but we've dropped the last 2 there. But it feels like forever. You know what I mean? So I'm like, at least we won at Jordan Hare. We beat our rival on the road, tough environment. What do you want?
Especially the fight they gave Penn State in the whiteout.
Michigan State.
Auburn lost to Penn State.
Oh, Auburn. Yeah.
They only lost by 8. So, but Penn State goes
Auburn, Auburn was, a little better than their record, and their losses weren't that bad.
Yeah, I mean, you
They
lose
gave
to
some teams
Bama.
some trouble. I mean, Georgia blew them out, but Georgia was Georgia. We know that.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm going to end it here, man. But again, I appreciate you coming on, man. You're welcome anytime you want to talk. It doesn't even have to be just Michigan State, but I always love getting some good insight from you. And I wish your Spartans the best of luck, man. And a reminder, when's that spring game?
I'm not sure. I haven't looked.
I can find. Hold on, I got it right here. Actually, I got the green and white spring game. Time to be announced, but it is April 16th. I got it right here. I got the schedule, so my bad.
That's a Saturday too, right?
It is a Saturday, yes.
I'm hoping it is a primetime night game.
Do you get to? Because I know I think, but is it you could go to the game for free?
I think I have to get I think I have to get tickets. I think.
Yeah, but I mean, they're not. It's not super expensive like season passes or anything. It's got to be at least somewhere under like maybe $30 or whatever.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. Anyways, thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Have a good one.
You too.
Appreciate MSU #1 fan for coming on. I love you, buddy. Good to talk some Michigan State football with you as always. Love and appreciate that. Y'all go check him out. I think he's got a channel. He hasn't uploaded in quite some time, but you can still check him out. MSU #1 fan on YouTube. Always giving us great insight on Michigan State football. Always emailing me and everything. If you ever want to talk about a college football team or whatever you want to talk about, I'm normally good with football, basketball, and baseball. Outside of that, I'm still trying to learn golf and everything. But if you ever want to hit me up, email me, ballardsports19@gmail.com, or you can message me on Twitter @ballardsports, and be happy to look over your team or whatever you would like to talk about sports-wise in a live stream or video recording at some point. I'm going to get out of here. I love you guys. Jesus loves you. Please like, comment, and subscribe right here to Ballard Sports Media for more sports content. And until next time, folks, Ballard Sports Media, checking out. Love you guys. Jesus loves you. God bless. And like I say from a Bama fan, roll Tide. Love y'all.